guys, Larissa with Becozi.com is here. Becozi.com is an American website with the biggest collection of chunky yarns in the United States. We have different kinds of chunky yarns, and we have the biggest collection or number of colors of chunky yarns. And today I will be using Jumbo Chenille yarn. This yarn is not available in any craft store. So today's project will be a Jumbo Chenille Santa blanket. Let me show you this beautiful blanket that we will be making. Here it is. We will be using cranberry red, black, yellow, and white. The white will go all the way around the blanket. It's a gorgeous blanket. It's not a big blanket. It's a size 30 by 50. It's a lap throw. It's enough to cover your laps when you're sitting on the couch. And again, as I said, cranberry red, white, a little bit of yellow, and one skein of black. I have a little bit left. I'm just showing you the color. So what you will need 4 skeins of cranberry red, 2 skeins of white, 1 skein of yellow, which you will have half left, and 1 full skein of black. And that will give you this beautiful Santa blanket. Let me show you again. I am in love with that. It's so beautiful. Look at that. And if you want to make a matching pillow for this blanket, here is the matching pillow. I will be showing you how to make this pillow in my next video next week. So subscribe to Becozi.com YouTube channel, and you will be receiving all our videos to your email as soon as they uploaded to YouTube. Let's get started. Okay, guys, so we will be starting with our white Jumbo Chenille. So take off the label. And we are usually, I'm usually using the end that is hiding on the side, like that. So now, take the white yarn, place it in front of you. This is the tail, this is working yarn. Working yarn goes on the back to make a loop. Insert your hand, grab working yarn, and pull it out. Now pull these 2 strings and stitch in the opposite direction until this knot will be closed and you cannot really pull it. And then this is your first stitch. This is the working yarn. You can pull it down a little bit and make a stitch about 2 inches. Make a knot on the end over here. Pull it that it would be tight, and then cut the tail close to the knot, and this way we secure the yarn that it would not be unraveling when you're using it or when you are washing this blanket. Now insert your hand inside this first stitch. This is working yarn. You're grabbing working yarn and pulling it through the first stitch. So we just made second stitch. Now we will be making stitches like that, a chain of stitches like that, and we will need 14 stitches, guys, okay? So try to make all stitches about the same size, and in order to make it, try to place your hand on the bottom of the previous stitch, then insert your hand, grab working yarn, and pull it out. This way, this stitch will not be pulled to become bigger, because we need all these stitches to be approximately the same size. And another important thing, when you're making cast-on chain, like I'm doing now, make sure that the stitches are a little bit looser or bigger than the stitches when you're knitting the blanket itself. Why? Because if they will be too tight over here, your blanket will be looking like that, with the very tight bottom, and then it will spread out on the sides. So we have a cast-on chain. Let's count. We need 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 14. Now, what are we doing now? We're flipping this chain on another side like that. Working yarn goes on the back of the cast-on chain, and now we will be pulling out the first row. How we will do it? First, this is our first stitch. Grab it from underneath or go inside of it from underneath, and then insert your hand, grab working yarn, and pull out the first stitch. This is your first stitch. Now we will be using the middle part of the stitch, and it's not really easy to see it because Jumbo Chenille yarn is very fluffy, but you will need to be very attentive. So this is the top part of the stitch, this is the bottom, and we're using these knots in the middle. See these knots? That's what we're using. So lift this second knot or first knot to the stitch, insert your hand inside this knot or fingers, grab working yarn and pull it out. This is your second stitch. Now find the next middle part of the stitch, not top, not bottom, the middle one, and then lift it, grab working yarn and pull it out. And now keep doing it until you pull out the first row of your blanket, Santa blanket, all 14 stitches. Make sure that it's 14 because, as I said, yarn is very fluffy. You may miss the stitch. So when you're making this first row, knitting first row, make sure that it's 14. So let's count. Make sure we have 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 14 stitches, guys. So what are we doing now? We are making the next row. And to make a next row, we are simply, working yarn goes in this direction now. We are simply inserting our hand inside, grabbing working yarn and pulling it out. So we just made first stitch in the second row. Now insert your hand, grab working yarn, pull it out. And this is a simple knitting stitch, and you keep doing it until you're done with your second row. Okay? So we will be making 2 rows of white. So the first official row was the cast on, this one, and then we have 1 and 2. See, we can easily count how many rows we have. So here we are. We just made 2 rows. What are we doing now? We are cutting our yarn, and don't leave like a long tail, just about a few inches. And now we will connect our cranberry red. Here's our cranberry red color. We will be connecting yarn, making a very simple knot. So, simple knot. And then pull yarn in both directions until you can feel that there is no way to pull. Take scissors and cut the tails close to the knot. That's how you connect Jumbo Chenille yarn. It's very easy, and when you start knitting, you will not really see this connection. So this is our first stitch of the red. So insert your hand, grab working yarn, and pull it out. And don't worry that you see this bump. It will hide when we are back. So then the same, insert your hand, grab red yarn, and pull it out. So what we will be doing now, guys, we will be simply knitting our cranberry red color until we use 2 skeins, okay? 2 skeins. So here we're done, and starting from this row, second row of the red, I will be skipping the first stitch. Why I will be doing it? Because that will make us a beautiful chain similar to the bottom on the sides. So we are simply leaving it and going inside the second stitch, grab working yarn and pull it out, and then keep doing it until you are done with next row. So as I said, I will be using the whole skein of red. Then I will connect another red, cranberry red, and then I will come back, and when I use 2 skeins, if you remember, I said at the beginning, we will need 4 skeins of cranberry jumbo chenille. And again, as I said in the, at the beginning of the video, this yarn is not available in any craft store. Don't run to the craft store to find it. You will not find it there. It's available only at Becozi.com. If you can find something similar, it's wonderful, but the amount of stitches and the whole pattern will be different because the yarn will be different. So if you want to make this blanket, you need to go to Becozi.com and buy this, specifically this yarn, Jumbo Chenille. And website is Becozi.com. Anyway, I will be knitting until I'm done with 2 skeins. I will be back when I'm done. Okay, guys, so we are done with our 2 skeins of cranberry red. This is our white on the bottom. And now we are moving to black and a little bit of yellow. So here on the side, I have a big piece of red left, so I will cut it because we need a small piece over here, so about a few inches, as I said. And now we will connect our black, okay? So the same way, guys, simple knot like that, and then pull it in both directions until it's really tight, and then cut the tails like that, okay? So it's pretty close. So what are we doing now? Now we will be knitting 1 row of black. And as I said, I was skipping knitting this first stitch over here. So you see that it gave me a beautiful chain, and also it saved you a little bit of yarn, okay? If you don't skip the first stitch, it will be wavy, and you will not have this beautiful chain, and you will use a little bit more yarn. It's also okay, but that's just a little good part about skipping first stitch. So when we're introducing new color, we are knitting the first stitch because we need new color to be on the first stitch. Okay, so we are simply knitting our black by inserting our hand, grabbing working yarn, and pulling yarn out like that. Okay, so we're done with almost done with our first row of black. And what are we doing now? We can now skip this one because we introduced the new color, and we're going directly to the second one. This one is just sitting here, okay? So now we have 14 stitches here. Okay, guys, so what we're doing, we're knitting only first 5. This one skipped, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, next 4 will be yellow. Let's take our yellow. So black will go on the back. And what I will do, I will connect yellow to this black over here. See this working yarn? By making a simple knot close to the stitch. See? So I will make a knot with the yellow over black. Then I will pull it that it would be all the way behind the stitch like that, and then I will simply cut this yellow tail. Okay, so we connected yellow, and now we're knitting 4 stitches of yellow. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we are switching back to black. The black is sitting here, see, it's still here, and we needed 4 yellow. What we're doing now, this black will be what we will be knitting, but before we knit it, we will need to crisscross yellow and black. See, like that. 1 and 2. This way we will not have this gap. It will close the gap between these stitches. Okay? So now when we twisted it on the back, and try to keep this kind of on the loose side because it will be on the back of the blanket. And now we are knitting, yellow is sitting here, and we're knitting our 5 black, the same as on the other side. We had 5 there, and we now have 5 here, okay? So, now we are going back with our 5 black, and we are skipping this first stitch over here, okay? And we are going inside. And we are going inside the second one, and we are knitting the 4, skipping the first one. Okay, so here we are, and now we are doing the same. We are twisting yellow and black, and then we will be knitting yellow here again. So twist like that, prevents from creating this gap in between. And now we will be knitting 1 yellow, and now we need to knit 2 black. So we're going back, and we're twisting black and yellow on the back, and we are knitting 2 black, 1 and 2. See what we're doing? Now back to yellow. Yellow come here, and we are twisting yellow and black, and we are knitting 1 yellow. Here we are, black. So yellow, black, black, yellow. And now we are going back to black again. Okay, so again, twist the yarn on the back, and switch to black. Here we are. See, we close these gaps by twisting the yarn, and now we're simply knitting 5 black, skipping first and coming back. Here we are. So we will repeat. We will make a twist, switching to yellow, and we will knit 1 yellow, then twist, and we will knit 2 black, and then another twist, and we're going to knit 1 more yellow. So this way we're creating Santa belt with this yellow in the middle of black. So now twist again and go back to black. Yellow is sitting here because we'll still be using it. Now make 5 black. Yellow is here. We're coming back, skipping first black and then knitting 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we will be knitting all 4 yellow because that will be the top part of the belt. Again, twist on the back, black and yellow, and then yellow, 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 yellow. Here we are. It's a beautiful belt. And we're pretty much done with yellow. So we are now twisting the yellow and black. And we will cut yellow because we will not need yellow any longer. We already made a beautiful belt for Santa blanket. Here we are. So what are we doing? We are cutting this yarn a few inches, and then we will make a knot to prevent it from unraveling. Cut the tail. And then we will weave in the end on the back. So you can just simply go underneath any yellow because you're trying to hide yellow. And that will be all. Here you go. So what do we do now? We are making one more row of black. Skipping first stitch, going into a second. And then we are simply making a black line or row all the way to the end of this row, and then we will we will switch to red. So here we are, couple inches. We are switching to our red, cranberry red, and we are going to find the end and connect this yarn the same way as we were connecting before, making a simple knot, and then make it tight, pull it both directions, and cut the tails close to the knot. So what are we doing now, guys? Now we're simply knitting our red yarn, cranberry red, all the way and until we're done with 2 skeins. And again, when it's the first stitch of new color, we are knitting it. And then when it's next row, we will be skipping first stitch again, okay? So again, I will be knitting until I'm done with 2 skeins of cranberry. Then I will come back and I will show you what to do next. Okay, guys, so we are done with our 2 skeins of cranberry. And now we will be using that half skein of white that we started with. And we will be simply attaching it with the simple knot, as I showed you at the beginning, like that. And then pull it both directions. Oops, I pulled too hard. Okay, let's make another one. Okay, so now we will cut the tails on both sides. Here we are, we connected the yarn. Now we will make our first stitch with white. Insert your hand, grab working yarn and pull it out. And then simply knitting. We will be knitting 2 rows, the same what we did on the bottom, 2 rows of white, and then we will cast off with white color. It will be really beautiful. And then when we're done, we will add 2 sides of white on the blanket to make white all over the blanket. That looks much more beautiful with white all the way around. Okay, so we made 2 rows. What we're doing now, we are taking 2 first stitches, placing our hand inside, grab working yarn, pull it through these 2 and make 1 stitch. Now you have 1 stitch in your hand, add another, you have 2, grab working yarn, pull it through. And keep knitting 2 stitches at a time until you are done with the whole top of the blanket. It's very simple. 2 stitches, then you have 1, add another, and pull yarn through it. the same as on the bottom, try to make stitches here on the top, or cast on stitches, a little bit bigger than the stitches when you're knitting. This way, this will not be too tight, okay? So here we are. Now we will be cutting the yarn a few inches and make a knot. Cut the tail close to the knot. You have this one last stitch. Insert this tail inside of this last stitch and pull it. So you just finished the blanket. This beautiful Santa blanket. And now we will add white on the sides. So how we will be doing it? That's why I said, and you can keep the blanket like that. It's already beautiful blanket, but I think with a white around it will be even more beautiful. We'll need one more skein. So we're taking one skein that we left. We had two. Remember I said we will need two white. So now what are we doing? We're simply placing the yarn over here. And then we're going inside this last stitch of the white on the side. And we are grabbing the yarn and pulling the stitch out. So we just made one stitch. Now, find the next, see we have all the stitches on the side, that's what we'll be using. Find the second one and pull it out. And then keep pulling out one stitch at a time until you pull out stitches all the way to the bottom. This way we will have this beautiful edge, white edge on a side, the same way as we have it on the top and the bottom. Okay, so here we are. So we need to go in every stitch, guys, because if you go to you skip the stitch and go to the next stitch, then it will not be as beautiful. So here we are, almost here, white, and one more white over here, okay? So here we are, white, white. So what do we do now? Now we will be casting off. The same way as I showed you the casting off the top of the blanket, take two stitches, and the working yarn goes through them. And then the same with the next one. So we will be knitting two stitches at a time. This way we will have this beautiful border on the side. And that will take exactly one skein. And it might take a little bit more. That's why we have a little bit more left from our first skein. And that's because we made 2 rows over here, 2 rows and a cast on, and 2 rows and cast off. And that left a little bit of yarn that you might need on the second side. Okay? So here we are. We're almost to the side. Over here. So last 2 stitches. Here we are. What are we doing now here, guys? Cut the yarn a few inches. Make a knot on the end. I'm always making that knot. And then this tail goes inside the last stitch. Okay, now we have all these pieces here. So what are we doing with these pieces? We're simply making a knot with them, and then another knot. And then you can simply cut the tails like that. And this piece, make a knot to prevent unraveling. Cut the tail and hide the stitch or weave in the stitch in between of any white stitches on the back. Jumbo Chenille yarn is very fluffy. You will not see where you did it, okay? So here we are. We just finished this beautiful edge. Here, see how beautiful it is? So now we are turning the blanket on another side, and we will do the same on this side, guys, okay? So just place the yarn like that, go inside the last stitch, grab the yarn and pull it out. This is the tail, and then go inside every stitch to create a white row on the side. So that's what we'll be doing. And then the same way as we did on the other side, we will simply cast it off. Let's see if it will be enough yarn. So again, you need 2 skeins of cranberry red, 4 skeins of cranberry red, 2 skeins of white, and almost 1 skein of black, and a little bit of yellow. Here we are. We are done with the whole row. And now we are simply doing the same. We're taking 2 stitches and knitting them together. And we will be doing it all the way to the end of this side to make the beautiful edge, the Santa blanket. Jumbo Chenille yarn is super thick and soft. It's amazingly beautiful on blankets. So we have like 26 colors available, I believe, at Becozi.com. If you go to Becozi.com, click yarn, and then you will select Chenille yarn, and then you select Jumbo Chenille, and that's what I am using today, Jumbo Chenille yarn. Here we are. We're almost done. Actually, we have enough. So 2 last stitches, knit them together, and you have one. Take scissors and cut a few inches. Now make a knot on the end. Maybe I shouldn't because we will be connecting it, but just a habit. Okay, let's see. The tail goes inside this last stitch, and then you're pulling it out. That's how you finishes your row. And then here you can simply connect the yarn, make a knot, make second knot, and here's a beautiful corner, and you can cut the knots, cut the yarn close to the knot. Here we are, guys. Our beautiful blanket is ready. So we have white on the side, we have white on the top and on the bottom, and we have one side with the yarn hanging at a beginning. So to weave it in, see this chain, go underneath, then one more time, and then here you can hide it anywhere between the stitches. It's a little bit of black. Let's take it out. Here you go. Beautiful Santa blanket is ready. Our Jumbo Chenille yarn at Becozi.com. Find this yarn, make this gorgeous blanket. Please comment and like our video underneath the video. Stay warm and be cozy. Hey guys, my hand knitting book is ready for you to purchase. It can be purchased at Becozi.com and on Amazon, and also available as an e-Kindle. It's a perfect gift for yourself or your loved one. It's the most unique gift and book on the knitting market.